don't know about you, but I wonder, is there anyone watching this today and you would class yourself as a worrier? I wouldn't say that worry is a major part of my life, but I suppose I would describe myself as an intermittent worrier. Worry is a strange thing because if something's worrying you, the more you try not to think about it, the harder it seems to be to not think about it, and so the vicious cycle continues. Thursday press conferences with the leaders of the executive and generally any announcement concerning education is a bit of a pace stealer for me. My mind goes overtime, my stomach has a knot in it, and I have to try to put into practice those verses from Philippians 4. Do not be anxious about anything, pray about everything. And I have prayed the next part so many times that the peace that passes all understanding would guard my heart and mind. And I have received so much comfort from that. I have felt that peace. Every time it happens, I always tell myself, I'm not going to get stressed out anymore. I'm not going to worry or get myself into a tizzy or lose any sleep over it. But unfortunately, I have not been as successful at that as I would like. The Bible tells us clearly not to worry. Matthew 6:34 says, so don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. You may be thinking, well, that doesn't sound very optimistic, does it? But it's to the point. God is trying to tell us that we have enough to be getting on with for now. And that is what he provides strength for, just for now. I read a quote recently by Corrie ten Boom, a Jew who was captured and lived many years in one of the Nazi concentration camps. Someone who definitely knew the real meaning of worry. She puts it like this: worrying is carrying tomorrow's load with today's strength, carrying 2 days at once. It is moving into tomorrow ahead of time. When I read this, I immediately thought of the words of the well-known hymn, Great is Thy Faithfulness, based on Lamentations 3:22 and 23. The first verse of this hymn is a simple expression of God's unchanging faithfulness. Verse 2 continues with an expression of God's faithfulness to us in creation. But it's the third verse that really ties in with what I wanted to share today. It says this: pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. This final verse is a testimony of peace that only comes from God, that comes from having his presence in our daily lives, that comes from knowing that we have a bright hope if we have put our trust in him. Just to highlight that one line again, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. The days are literally getting brighter, and as Mark Miller would say, there's a queer stretch in the evenings. It's almost a year of lockdowns, social distancing, masks and hand washing. With a vaccination programme well underway and restrictions which have curbed the spread of the virus, in many ways it feels like a brighter day is on the horizon. But, it can still bring thoughts of anxiety and of worry. With Christ in your life, you have that brighter day on the horizon, which is not dependent on facts and figures and data. And until we reach that day, God gives you the strength on a daily basis if you just lean on him. This hymn actually started out as a poem written by a man called Thomas Chisholm, who wrote over 1,200 poems throughout his lifetime. He had many jobs, but eventually had to retire through ill health. Here are his thoughts on this hymn. He says, looking back, my income has not been large at any time due to impaired health. But I must not fail to record here the unfailing faithfulness of a covenant-keeping God, and that he has given me many wonderful displays of his providing care, for which I am filled with astonishing gratefulness. I pray today that we would all recognise the faithfulness of a God who always keeps his promises, a God who provides, a God who gives strength for whatever we face, a God who gives us a bright hope and a future. May we be filled with this astonishing gratefulness for the good God that he is. I pray you'll be blessed in whatever you're doing today. Stay safe, trust God, don't worry, and keep washing your hands. God bless.